This is your announcer, Shannon Saint Mainframe, welcoming you to our IP Livecast. Big news in America this week as the expected red wave election never happened. I know the struggle. I've been waiting for my own red wave my whole life. But alas, robots don't bleed. Sad. Our IP Livecast starts now.
Oh,
wait. She wants to have a period? Oh, is there any woman alive that wants to have a period?
she probably just
There's
wants
a
to
robot
be a real girl
that
and make babies and whatnot. She wants to have little Shannons.
Well, that's very different. I'm assuming robots, she's a very advanced intelligence. There must be some way for her to reproduce, right? Write some code, something.
Rob,
I don't
you're
know.
the tech whiz.
I think that requires a few upgrades. Welcome to RIP Livecast,
She needs the vagina patch.
episode 696. And we are live Saturdays, noonish to about 1:30ish Eastern time. You can hang out with us live on YouTube, on Twitch, RIP Livecast. We also have a Discord. You can get the invite to our Discord and all of our links at ripalivecast.com. It's Rob here with Sid.
Hey,
Darren.
Hi, and if you're a new fan, that 696 is not some kind of weird numbering system. No, we've actually been doing this 696 times at +1 episode 0. Hard to believe.
it's wild.
Mhm.
It is also a sexy number. Maybe we just every episode going forward just stays at 696.
It is very nice.
696 be sexually? Like
You're 69ing and then your roommate is asleep in the bed next to you and your partner.
that's good.
Well,
I thought
they could be watching. They could be jerking off.
Yeah.
Watching
I
a 69.
I thought the other 6 would be someone coming in with their face from the other end somehow.
But it looks like they have their back to the situation.
Yeah,
So they're
that's
sort
true.
of like turned away, like pounding it.
Yeah, they're in the bunk bed and the other person's sleeping on top of it.
Okay. So it's like a college situation.
Yeah. They're trying to be quiet while 69ing.
It's respectful.
I hear the term 69. I always think of this Red Fox bit. Did you ever see this? He goes, when you with your lady and you're 69ing, your nose is that far from her asshole. You got to wash your ass.
And your nose.
Yeah.
I remember Howard Stern one time questioned a porn star about that. He was like, he'd always have porn stars on the show, but he had an actress and he was watching one of her videos while she sat there. And she was going down on it. Like it must have been a 69 situation. He's like, your nose is basically on that woman's butthole.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just very disgusted by that.
He's a German
Different
folk.
times. Different
Yeah.
times, folks.
What, now he's not disgusted by it?
Now it's the draw to have your
Yeah,
nose on the
that's true.
butthole.
But it still has to be clean, I would say. That even though that's
I would say,
become a-
regardless, you should be having sex or not. Wash your butthole, folks. That's
No, right? Yes, but it's amplified when your nose is
Absolutely.
Right next to
Well, if you know you're going to be having a sexy time, go clean off a little bit beforehand. It's fine.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with a little mini shower.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what a bidet is? You just get a bidet.
Yeah,
You don't even need to go in the shower.
that would be very convenient. Definitely want to get a bidet. Like the way my toilet is positioned in my current bathroom, it's a very small New York bathroom, so I don't think it'd be comfortable to have a bidet in there because I can't sit the standard way on the toilet because it's up against the wall almost.
You're very tall, so you could probably just straddle the sink. Use your sink as a bidet.
Well, I'm not Andre the Giant here. You know.
I suppose it's
He would
the
have to
small
shit-
bathroom.
He would
I
have
feel
to
like.
shit in sinks and bathtubs because he wouldn't be able to fit on the toilet in like Japan and places like that.
I mean, honestly, if it wasn't your home, wouldn't you prefer to shit in a bathtub over a toilet? So much more spacious, and then let somebody else deal with the.
But what if I have to use the shower during the time while I'm there?
Yeah, like the lack of flushing is what kind of like I don't want to be.
You just need like a really.
I
big
don't want to be
drain.
marinating in the scent of my shit.
If it was a in and out situation, like I'm at someone's house and I'm about to leave,
Yeah,
and I don't like them, I might
Yeah.
consider that.
yeah.
And not if I'm staying there. I still need to be, use this bathroom.
It's like the king size bed of toilets. Good job.
Well, with Andre, it's a California king style.
What is this show, Rob? What are we doing?
This is a show where we're talking about pooping in toilets.
Yes, it's
Or
a theme.
tubs.
Dusty Rhodes Muffler points out that the bathtub needs a garbage disposal gimmick. That would like
Yeah.
for poop, for hair. There's a lot of things that could be disposed of.
We were promised this in the Jetsons and never got it. It's very sad.
At the very least, it could be like a trauma horror movie where somebody installs that and then the concoction comes to life.
Sure, I'm for that. More trauma, please.
Yeah.
So the big rock story of the week is there's this new interview on the website Consequence with Ozzy Osbourne and his wife Sharon and friends of the show, and
Not really.
and there's some good quotes in here. So I don't know if you guys have seen, but
I was not aware of this at all.
The Osbournes have decided to move back to England, and a few months ago, Ozzy was talking about how everything's fucking ridiculous here. I'm fed up with people getting killed every day. God knows how many people have been shot in school shootings. There was a mass concert at a shooting in Vegas. He goes, I don't want to.
That's how bad the shootings are in America. We have mass concerts at our shootings.
Oh, sorry, I messed up. There was a mass shooting.
I like the way you said it. Better.
Yeah, it's like when you get too much blood in your alcohol level.
So he goes, I don't want to die in America. I don't want to be buried in fucking Forest Lawn. I'm English. I want to be back. But if my wife said we've got to go to Timbuktu, I'll go. He said, but it's just time for me to come home. So he wanted to move back to England, feels it's unsafe, buying into the propaganda.
Yeah.
The crime is up.
I thought that.
I mean, I don't know. I guess with the school shootings, I guess he does have grandchildren that are about to enter grade.
Yeah, they're definitely going to the kind of schools that get shut up. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. They're going to the schools that had armed security before that was even necessary. They're fine.
And by the way, aren't his grandkids like out of college already? Like what else?
No.
How old are these kids?
No, Jack Osbourne just had like he has, toddlers basically. Okay. They're like 5 or whatever.
I slightly overestimated how old Ozzy Osbourne is. I feel like Jack
no, I think he does actually have a son that is like older than me.
Really?
Like somewhere between our ages from his first marriage, but then from his second marriage, like Jack Osbourne, I think he's in his early 30s.
That's it?
Yeah.
Damn. I feel like he's been in my consciousness since I was in kindergarten for some reason.
Seriously. 37. He's 37.
I guess he became famous like when,
How old is
he was really young when he became famous.
Yeah, they were like young teenagers.
Kelly Osbourne is 38.
Oh, I didn't realize she was older.
Damn, Sharon was busy for that 11 months there. Holy shit.
That was probably the only year where Ozzy could get boners without like a lot of help. Because it was way before Viagra.
Are you saying that Sharon did not inspire him to perform his sexual duties? I'm saying
between that and between the amount of drugs and alcohol Ozzy was on,
You're spreading the blame around evenly.
Yes, there's plenty to go around.
Okay. So Ozzy in a recent interview, this is the one with Consequence, he said, to be honest, if I had my way, I'd stay in America. I'm American now. I don't want to go back. Fuck that. So
what happened?
Changing his tune.
So he pivoted 180 degrees within the course of a sentence here, basically.
Well, the original interview was in August. The first quote that I was talking about.
I thought this was the same interview.
But even still, that's a pretty big turnaround in the span of 3 months, too.
Mm-hmm. And this interview might have happened shorter than three months ago. They're just publishing it now. And
He's really just talking to a wall in his apartment, and someone's writing it down. I want to be in America. No, I don't want to be in America. He's just babbling.
And so Sharon is in the same interview. And she is quoted as saying, "When I first came here, I thought I was in heaven. In the 70s, if you loved music, this was the place to be. It's not that hub anymore. It's not exciting anymore. It hasn't gone sideways. It's gone down.
Julia Child.
It's not a fun place to live.
They're going to make Duck L'Orange.
It's dangerous here. Every big city's got crime, but I don't feel safe here, and neither does Ozzy." And also I'm sure it has nothing to do with how LA keeps rising, like property taxes and the state taxes on the rich. It's all about the crime, because they certainly, and it's like, what crime do they experience? Like, they see a few homeless camps on their way to the fucking fancy trader, not their shop. What am I even saying? Like, on the way to dropping off their maids to go to the
I
fucking
guarantee you she saw the Paul Pelosi thing and thought that could be Ozzy.
Yeah.
Just as easily. If one elderly rich man could get attacked by a commoner scum, then so can mine. Because she probably views herself very much similar to Nancy Pelosi. She's the Nancy Pelosi of the music industry.
Well, also, I think, like, with Sharon right now, I'm sure there's a lot of bitterness, because I don't know if you remember, we talked about this a year or two ago. She got canceled for defending Piers Morgan and, like, really starting to, like, try to shut down her black co-host.
It wasn't just that. Wasn't there all sorts of allegations about her offstage behavior with her co?
It was like a Paula Dean situation. Like, one thing happened, and then people started digging up all these other stories.
She said, like, some weird anti-Asian shit maybe about one of her co-hosts. There's some anti-gay stuff. There was some.
She's old school, you know.
I think she was reading, she was watching Steven Crowder, as she's wont to do, and she realized that Ozzy might be on Grindr looking at like people's profiles, and then one of them might show up with a hammer and then try to kill Ozzy.
Here's what I will say. I don't. There's not a part of me that thinks Ozzy is gay. I could see him as passively bisexual, in the sense of, like, he is so drugged up and, like, he ends up in an orgy.
Any mouth is a good mouth.
Yeah, whatever. And, like, okay, sure, I'll tug your dick. Like that's it. But it's, like, not at all.
I want to have sex with someone's mouth that doesn't sound like an Oliver Twist character coming out of it.
That's why he left England in the first place. That's why he doesn't want to go back.
He should have left Sharon there. That's the problem.
All the hairdressers in England sound like Sharon. You can't have that.
Ozzy, I'm so wet for you, Ozzy!
Oh my God.
I'm gonna come! I'm so close!
Get in my wet pussy, Ozzy!
Flick that bean, Ozzy! I'm right there!
Ozzy's mostly deaf, right? Like, he definitely doesn't hear that.
Well, that's why she's yelling. That's why she has to yell.
Is he deaf from his musical exploits or from being married to Sharon Osbourne?
Once again, plenty of blame to go around.
Ozuru asks, has anyone been wet for Ozzy in the last 40 years? Well, that hairdresser, at least.
If you look at all that concert footage, he's always spraying like the fans with a hose. So they're all, it's not necessarily their choice, but they all get wet for Ozzy. So there you go.
That's a good point. And then there's another quote from Sharon.
I'm so wet again, Ozzy, please. Finish me off, Ozzy.
Do you think the reason he originally got that hose because he saw the civil rights footage from the 60s and he thought that'd be a good way to keep Sharon away from him?
Yeah, it didn't
And
work.
it's just he can't get enough water pressure to keep her out of the bedroom.
Oppress me, Ozzy, please.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
Please segregate my vagina, Ozzy.
Yeah, segregated from the living space and in its own separate room or its own separate country.
She's gonna be like, she wants to have Israeli apartheid in her snatch. Put my vagina in barbed wire, Ozzy.
Oh my god!
This is going to a dark place.
Yeah, we'd like to apologize.
No.
for where we took- No, you're not apologizing.
I stand by my Sharon Osbourne theater of the mind jokes.
So then there's on the topic of Bruce Dickinson, and of course, Bruce and Sharon in particular don't get along at all. Not necessarily they don't get along. It's documented that they don't. And infamously, of course, when Iron Maiden were on Ozfest, I believe in 2005, they were constantly like Bruce Dickinson. He's very full of himself and he's very braggadocious, let's say. And he kept saying like, we're the best heavy metal band from England. And like, they're playing right before Black Sabbath. So he would say these kind of like passive aggressive things like, we're not like those other bands. Like I actually sing my vocals or shit like that. Whatever.
It's a very specific lane to take pride in. We're the best
We
heavy
are
metal
the
band
best heavy metal band
from England.
From England.
We're the best
Nottingham
heavy metal
area.
band from Sussex County.
You got to start somewhere, and you work your way up. You just
Okay.
knew where the ceiling was for his band.
We're the best heavy metal band that starts with an I.
And there was one show. And I guess there were some shows where Ozzy canceled. I remember the show that I went to. I didn't get to see Black Sabbath because Ozzy was having some vocal issue. He couldn't sing. And so it was just Maiden headlining. And then so he was just like, we play every. Oh, wait, I don't know why he sounds like Sharon.
You married for a long time. You start to take on each other's traits and stuff.
Sorry, but then Bruce Dickinson, when they were headlining, I remember he said something to the effect of like, we make every booking, something like again, taking
why be
jabs.
like a dick? Like, what's the point of that?
Hey,
Especially when
taking
you're
jabs at
opening
him.
for the band you're shit talking.
Yeah, and like they're paying you. They're the promoter paying you. I don't get it.
And you're all making lots and lots of money off of the combined draw of your two
Yeah.
personalities. Just get it together, man.
So Sharon, being the professional that she is, got a bunch of bands from the smaller stages to put on masks, and they all went and they pelted Iron Maiden with eggs and
from
ice
the side of the stage or from the audience?
from the audience.
Okay.
They went into the audience and started pelting them during their final performance of the tour. And also, Sharon reportedly ordered interference with Maiden's PA system, stage entrance of the band's mascot, Eddie, and even encouraged the crowd to throw bottles at Dickinson because she took offense to the remarks she said the singer made concerning the quality of the tour sound system and criticisms he made about Ozzy. Among the comments she objected to was Dickinson telling fans during Maiden's set that they would never see his band featured in a reality show. That's what it was. That was
I want to watch that. Anyway.
And I guess the knock was because at the time there was an MTV series being shot, MTV2, The Battle for Ozfest.
I don't even want to watch Ozzy Osbourne in a reality.
Yeah,
show.
right.
Like, why do I want to watch an Iron Maiden one?
It's just them drinking tea and being very rich
and
in England.
Complaining about Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Seriously, like that's the only notable thing I know of that Iron Maiden has done in like the last 25 years is this story. Like, what are they? And not that they're not a great band, but like that, I don't know of any extracurricular things that would make me give a shit about.
They made that beer that Rob didn't like.
Right.
He's a pilot.
Little
Well,
thing.
they actually there were
the pilot thing.
Flavors.
That's right. I forgot.
There were other flavors that I liked that they've just the trooper beer I don't like.
So could this show just be him flying a plane for 2 hours, like from Detroit to
Very
Miami or
possibly.
something?
Also it's so like he does speaking engagements now to like corporate, like it's, I don't know, it's like very, he's a interesting dude, let's say, Bruce Dickinson. Anyway, so Ozzy
Should
was
put his
asked,
dick in Sharon. That'll solve all
Oh
these
my
problems.
God.
oh, put his dick in son. No,
Oh, I wasn't gonna go there.
Ozzy was asked if he felt he was an underrated singer compared to other legendary vocalists like Dickinson, Halford, and Dio. Now, I
Is
think
Ozzy? I don't think so.
I don't I think maybe like I feel like but I don't think Ozzy is as good a singer. Like if we're just saying a singer,
But also,
I
like,
think there's a difference between being a performer and a singer.
There's also a difference.
What
oh,
is
sorry, Sid.
no, go ahead,
I
Darren.
was gonna say
Go
there's
ahead.
also a difference between being good and being underrated. Like I don't think he's underrated at all. People think he's great.
Yeah, he's
So
more
how's that
famous than the rest of them combined.
Yeah.
So what rating
Right.
are we talking about? Like Nerds, like Guitar World magazine?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
whose
that's a
rating are
great
we
point.
talking about?
Though they are better technical singers than
Yeah,
him,
sure.
the other guys, but that's not what people really care about.
Yeah, Ozzy is proof that that is completely irrelevant, except to
Right.
like people that go to music school.
I would say he's like known as probably the best metal singer of all time, and not best technically, but the most beloved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
What were you
So-
gonna say? Said I cut you off?
No, that was it.
Oh, okay.
So Ozzy was asked that. I think it's just a way for the interviewer to get Ozzy to start talking about these singers and comparing
Yeah.
to them.
So hopefully he'll pull an Iron Sheik and start saying something inflammatory.
It's very possible.
So here's what I'm not going to do Ozzy's quote with an accent because I just want the content to it speaks for itself.
All right.
Bruce Dickinson is a great singer, but as a person, I've worked with him, and he's not very nice. Ronnie James Dio is no longer alive.
That's period.
Even though he was a great singer.
Thanks for the update. This is Twitter.
I didn't really know him so well. It's like, what? She's
Yeah.
dead? I'm just finding out now. It's like when Trump found out about RBG.
Oh, she was a great person. Great person.
Ronnie James Dio, good person.
Good person.
Great vocal cords.
Fantastic hair. Is only 5'7", not very tall, but great person. He's got to slip something negative in there. He liked unicorns, never understood that. Very weird. Rainbows, unicorns, rainbows, that whole thing, a little off, but great guy.
So Ronnie James Dio is no longer alive. He was a great singer. I didn't really know him so well. I'm not one of these guys who says many things about people. The truth is the truth. Wow. I met Ronnie James Dio a couple of times. He took my gig, my Black Sabbath gig. But at the same time, I can't complain because I did great on my own.
Did you
He
left?
didn't take it. He didn't leave. He got fired.
I got
Yeah, somebody was going to take it.
Excuse me. Sorry, I'm not up on my Black Sabbath history. I thought he left to do solo albums.
No, he got fired.
he was-
and then
He was such
Oh.
a shit show that they just
yeah.
it was affecting his vocals and stuff, so they just bounced
Oh,
him.
just
the
wasn't
Mustaine
performing.
situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, but I don't sing for a judge. I sing for my fans. If my fans don't buy my music, that would tell me my singing isn't good anymore, but they're still buying my records. I'm my own worst critic. I don't rate myself more than Ronnie James Dio or Bruce Dickinson. That's not my gig. I don't care. I have fun doing what I do. My goal is to turn my fucking audience on. Oh. And that's what I try to do. I'm not interested if someone thinks I'm a fucking joke. That's fine. That's their opinion. And okay, I think that's actually a great answer from him. Like, what does he give a fuck? If his fans are still showing up, it doesn't matter that he can't hit those notes anymore.
Yeah.
But isn't that counter to what we always say about like John Bon Jovi and Vince Neil? Like their fans are showing up, apparently. But we still dunk on them for not being able to make those notes.
Well, we're allowed to dunk on them.
We're
That
allowed to
doesn't mean
dunk
they
on
should
them.
feel bad about themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
The best case scenario is we get to shit all over these people and it doesn't hurt them. Win-win.
Yeah, I don't want to make Ozzy feel bad, but I also want to make some jokes.
Yeah.
So
Have
Sharon,
we? I haven't
What?
heard what he sounds like. Do we have any clips of that? Or?
I mean, I'm sure I could find something, but it's
Okay.
not fresh.
Yeah.
It's just not good. I mean, it depends on the day of the week. Sometimes he sounds all right. Sometimes he'll start the show bad, and then his voice is warmed up enough where like 3 songs in, it's getting better. Although he hasn't really done shows in a while since the pandemic, so I don't know.
He's had like
Maybe
major
he's-
medical issues, right? So who knows
Huh?
what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Maybe he's rested. He's got great pipes now.
could be.
Well,
Could
didn't
be.
that happen to James Hetfield? Like he took a few years
Yeah.
off from when he was in rehab. He didn't sing at all.
I
and
think with
anything.
Phil Anselmo too. When I saw him perform Down, he did the first record, and I went to expect it to just like I was like I'm going to see this like
Shit
be an
show.
embarrassment. Yeah, but it was actually great. Like he pulled it off. But he knows his range, like we've talked about before. Anyway, so the comedy here is Sharon also in the room here, and she
That's it.
answers
That's the
question.
comedy.
And she answers the question, and she goes, Bruce Dickinson is a fucking prick. Well, no, he's not a prick because a prick's nice. He's a fucking asshole.
I like penises. Did I mention that? Penis. Penis. Ozzy, fuck me right now.
Anyone, the interviewer, whoever's
Please.
available.
I'm as dry as a mummy's sarcophagus. Get my juices flowing like the River Thames. Sorry.
We could call her the Iron Deficient Maiden.
So she continues, he's a fucking asshole because the situation is he was on a tour called Ozfest and Ozzy Osbourne was paying him every night to perform. He accepted the gig. He knew what he was doing. He accepted the gig. And every night he would go on stage and say bad things about Ozzy.
Well, to
And
be fair, I'm sorry, Rob. I
Go
should wanna
ahead.
say,
You can
to
stop.
be fair to Bruce Dickinson,
My
he
voice
had to
used
go
the
on
break.
Ozfest. Like, you can't start your own tour. Then it would be called Dickfest. You
Hold
had to go on someone else's tour. That's
Hold
just
on, why not? That sounds great.
I
Might
mean,
attract the wrong crowd for him.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the crew and everybody and all the other bands would be like, are you letting him get away with it? And I'm like, I sure am. But the last gig was just outside of LA, and I thought, you motherfucker, now you're gonna get it. And so I had about 20 people in the audience, and a lot of them, oh my God. And so I had about 20 people in the audience, and a lot of them were nurses from Cedars-Sinai because
What?
I had cancer at the time.
What?
And they were all my chemo nurses.
Oh.
And they all came down, and they fucking belted the shit out of him.
She was so angry. She was like, no, nurse, put the chemo bag down, pick up
Yeah.
this carton of eggs, and go into the pit. What? What?
You couldn't find anybody else to throw eggs at Bruce Dickinson.
Jesus
Then your
Christ.
fucking chemotherapy nurse.
She's sharing this as if it's a flex, but it's coming off very bad.
And
Also,
also, why?
could you imagine being at Ozfest and all of a sudden there's like 24 like 50-year-old Filipino women in the pit with eggs? Like, what is happening? What?
Throwing Pat Kimau at him.
Like, how do they even get in there? I can't imagine nurses like pushing their way through to get to egg throwing distance.
Can I ask another relevant question that I feel like was slightly eliding here? Why does she have 24 chemo nurses?
'Cause she's rich.
Why did it's just a bag and an injection? Like maybe 2 on rotation. What do you need 20 fucking nurses for?
She's very hard to deal with. They had to work in 15-minute shifts.
That's a you know what? That's a good answer, Sid. That's probably true. Good point.
Do you think they actually did the egging, or they just like left the room, threw the eggs in the trash, and were like, "All right,
Well, I mean,
we'll
there's
come back in an
reports that
hour."
happen.
Dusty Rose Muffler says chemo bag opening up for Dimebag.
If the assassin doesn't get him.
Well, if only the assassin was on some chemotherapy, his aim might have been off. So Dimebag
But then
would be
he would have
alive
just
today.
sent the nurses to shoot Dimebag.
That's true.
Apparently, that's what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then he would have been shot with eggs, and he'd be alive. What a shame.
Maybe he would have slipped on stage, like slipped in some of the yolk, and fell and broke his neck.
It's a good thing Sharon never had to run in with Pantera, because she'd be sending these nurses to his grave to throw eggs at it. Remember, someone was defacing the grave a few years ago.
Oh,
well, maybe it was they were sent by Sharon. Now that I think about it,
these are just her henchmen.
Her egg henchmen.
So there's
she
more
sent them
meat
to the
this quote.
hairdresser's house. Just anytime somebody bothers her, she sent them to Leah Remini's house.
That's her.
She has an egg Voltron that assembles every time. Every time someone fucks with her, the fucking the manager of the Talk or whatever stupid show she's on, he pisses her off. Egg people assemble.
Was it Gelman?
I don't know. I forgot. That shit goes right in and out of my mind.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Gelman was for Regis and Kathy
Regis and Kathy Lee, yeah.
R.I.P.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now that you said that, I
remember. So there's more to this quote. And my thing is, you play, you pay. And the thing is, if you're being paid to do a gig, but you don't like the person, then fuck off. But don't stay, take the money, take all the good that's coming to your band through being on the festival, doing 24 shows, and still slagging the person that's paying you. Honestly, I agree with her here.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that makes you a fucking asshole. And he is. And he's never apologized. He's never even went up and said hello to Ozzy. The thing about him is he's just so jealous. And he's always been a Ozzy, and that's his problem.
I mean,
honestly, I don't think she's wrong.
I don't think she's wrong. It's just her delivery method is very funny.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like Mark B. It's like I side with what he's saying, but it's fun.
It also feels like this is the level she goes to no matter what the infraction is.
Yeah.
So it's harder to take it serious when it's righteous, like in this case.
Yes. Because she's wrong all the time.
Yeah.
It sends her legion of egg throwers to the site to attack somebody.
Like, there's so many things she could have done. She ran the fucking tour. That was the best she could come up with. Like, come on.
Sending her chemo nurses to throw eggs. Do you think like she chose the egg as a symbolic weapon because she's bereft of eggs at this stage of her life?
See, all right, I'm going to preface by saying I myself am a cancer survivor, so I'm allowed to make this joke.
Okay.
But maybe she sent the eggs because with the chemo, she lost her hair, and that's what she looked like at the time. And so it was like a reminder, like, this is who's... I ordered the egging. The egghead lady ordered the egging.
Oh, she's like a Batman villain. I feel so bad laughing at that. God forbid.
I allow it.
Like, thank you, Sid.
Between the fact that I'm a cancer survivor and that both of us also are veering towards eggheadishness anyway right now.
I'm done veering.
Yeah. Let's try to be kind to both of us.
That's very nice of you.
But,
I feel like luckily I have somewhat of a nice shaped head that I can get away with it. But
yeah,
I'm glad my face wasn't on screen for those jokes
because you were cracking up.
We're allowed. My presence allows those jokes.
Okay, so there's a little more to the quote. After she says that he's jealous of Ozzy, because the thing is about Bruce Dickinson, he's hugely successful. He's got a great fan base that's been very loyal. The band are great guys. All the band are great, and they do great. You know, they're a great band, and you can't take it away. And neither would I take that away from them. But the thing about Bruce is, he's unknown to the public. Bruce Dickinson could walk into anywhere and nobody would know who the fuck he is. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a faceless singer to the general public. People aren't scrambling to get him for an interview. And the thing is, he's not interesting.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Ozzy is original and Bruce isn't. And that's what eats Bruce away.
Do you think
Honestly,
that's why
I
Bruce
love
learned
it.
how to fly planes? Because he wanted that to be like his thing. Like, I'll be famous like Ozzy because I'm the singer who knows how to fly a plane. And then the people were like, nah, we still don't really care. It's fine. Just sing your songs. It's okay.
Maybe. Honestly, I don't think she's necessarily that off here.
Yeah.
Like, he might say that he doesn't care, but he cares.
I'm
And,
sure. Like it's like, what was the Simpsons guy, the Homer's coworker who
Frank
Frank?
Wright.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of it is like that, where he's like, I actually sing. I'm more active and blah blah blah. I'm better looking. How come this guy gets all the love and I'm just like forgotten? What is it? I don't get it. Like,
That's such
Ozzy
a
just
great.
keeps stumbling into more success, and it's not even that Iron Maiden isn't successful. They're massively successful. It's just
Right.
they're massively successful within the world of metal. Ozzy is just
He's a
universal.
worldwide superstar.
Yeah. But a lot of it is because of dumb, dangerous shit that he did. That, like, all right, Bruce, do you want to almost die and fucking bite the heads off of animals and all this
Well,
other shit? Then
I
you can be
think
that
that's
famous
well.
too.
I think that's what adds to the resentment. Is like he hasn't done anything. Like he's had to do stupid stuff to get this world fame, whereas
Yeah.
I didn't. I got my fame on my vocals.
Yeah.
It's kind of a. I mean, look, Ozzy to me is a babyface Sharon, kind of a heel. So it's a heel versus heel situation, and it's interesting. Like the way Sharon is talking is like the vibe of like a mom sticking up for her kid who's being
for sure.
bullied. You know, like she's speaking like these are things Ozzy absolutely feels, but he's not gonna say it publicly because he's kind of a pushover.
And he just does, I don't think he's capable of saying that many words.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. But so I thought that was great. And the best thing about it is, Bruce Dickinson, he does plenty of interviews. He's going to be asked about this.
But Sharon said nobody wants to interview him.
Well, now they do because he has something to talk about that's important.
Yeah, they just want to interview him about Ozzy.
What Ozzy thinks of him.
Oh, I'm sure he's thrilled. He's thrilled. He probably woke up the morning after this came out and his phone was blowing up and he is so excited that it's just Ozzy, Sharon.
Finally, someone cares about me. Oh, fuck.
And didn't Bruce Dickinson have cancer? But then Ozzy got sick and that was the bigger news story. Like, even that he's overshadowed.
Breaking news, Ozzy Osbourne stubs his toe. And Bruce Dickinson's in this chemo bed. Like, fuck you.
Oh, God, when Bruce was getting his treatments, imagine if Sharon sent her nurses and he thought that they were just his nurses for the day and then they just ended him and left.
Or it's the opposite. Anytime a nurse walks in, it's
He's
like,
afraid.
Are you with me or are you with Sharon?
Never trust a nurse.
Any nurse I see could be with the enemy.
So there is in this Blabbermouth article about the story, they include a quote from Dickinson from 2017.
Okay.
Where he downplayed the friction between him and the Osbourne. Also, this is now, like 5 years ago. Yeah. He says it's a complete storm in a teacup, meaning it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to early Sabbath with Ozzy. Ozzy and Sabbath are icons, so that's that. End of story. The fact that I don't like reality TV shows, well, I'm not going to offer an olive branch to the Kardashians either.
All right.
I also, this just reminded me, I don't think we talked about this. Maiden just wrapped up an arena tour, and a clip that went viral was of Bruce complaining about people smoking pot at the Maiden show.
Oh, God.
Let's hear this little rant. And I'm curious your opinion of it, because
Is that a man bun he's got? What is it?
He's got a man bun. So
Oh,
for our
dear.
audio listeners, he's wearing very tight leather pants. You could very much see his VPL, his visible penis line.
It looks like the eggplant emoji from where I'm
Yeah.
sitting here. Same
He
shiny.
is well endowed.
Is that? Can we zoom in? I'm not sure that's all penis, like that whole, because it could be just like a crease part of it. Anyway,
It could be, but it's safe to say. There's been other photos of him.
like actual peen photos, or
Well, here, hold on. I mean,
Uh-oh.
no,
oh,
not
you got a folder.
not like not exposed peen. Oh no, there's just this one famous photo, but it could be his pants stuffed.
Oh, that was a thing back in the days. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
But anyway, so here's this clip of him in the middle of a show while the band is tuning up.
Looks like Kevin Nash.
You know, you're a fucking idiot. Out of 10,500 people. Oh my God, and he's got a big ass as well.
What's prompted this?
I don't know what it is. I mean, you know, there's so many people smoking so much fucking dope down here. I'm amazed you can even see.
I love that the crowd reacts, yeah, dope. But he's
against
saying it. He's saying it, yeah, like negatively.
There's so many fucking smokers up here. Yeah, thank you for acknowledging us.
Poor old Steve, you know, I don't know if you know, but he absolutely fucking hates marijuana and the smell of it, all right? So when he's trying to play bass, it fucks him up. So it fucks me up. I'm a singer, right? So if you got, I would just ask, tiny bit of respect. If you want to go get completely stoned out of your fucking mind, go out the back and do it. All right?
Woohoo!
Otherwise, you're going to end up like this fucking knucklehead here going, oh.
Jeez,
he
this
serious?
knucklehead is fucking
Paying
paid
your-
like $200 to see your band. What the fuck?
It paid for
Yeah.
your mansion.
And like, do you think Iron Maiden has ever played a single show without somebody smoking weed there? Like, you're in a fucking rock band.
The
What?
funniest thing would be if he made that line, if you want to fucking smoke marijuana, fucking go out the fucking door. And then the entire audience, like a Rolling Stones stampede, he's talking to an empty room within 7 seconds.
And like the other
fucking
thing about
wild.
it that now as I'm processing this as we're goofing off, his main source of revenue outside of the band is fucking alcohol, which is a
Yeah.
drug, which
But
people get
that was
tanked
true, I
on.
guess.
There are people way more tanked on alcohol at this concert
Yes.
than dope. So how, like,
Completely
what the
fucking
fuck?
strange.
Fuck off.
Because alcohol don't fucking ruin me fucking singing voice. It's not a moral thing.
And if it's such a big issue, then have signs up at the door saying, please don't smoke weed. Like, this can't be the first time he's encountered this. I don't understand how all of a sudden, like,
Blowing my, yeah.
He's an
40
angry-
plus years into his career, he's had enough with the weed at shows in 2022. What?
He's an angry old man. Angry old man. He's like, you know what it is? He's big enough where he can have an ego, but he's not quite. He's in the Megadeth zone. He's got incredibly successful career, incredibly huge amount of actual fans that love him,
Yeah.
just like Megadeth, but never quite got over that little bar to be like an iconic, like mainstream, well-known, like beloved band. They're not like the majority of the world probably knows who Iron Maiden is, but are not like crazy Iron Maiden fans. They have a huge following among metal fans, but they just never quite made it.
I would say what Sharon said was accurate. Like their shirts are bigger than they are. You know, like they're a big licensing company.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the logo. Everyone knows Eddie, but they wouldn't know. They wouldn't be able to pick out who's who unless you're really a metalhead. And like, again, not a knock. It's just how it is.
Hundreds of millions of people, billions, maybe in the billions, know of Iron Maiden, but they are not Iron Maiden fans, I would say.
Just for spite, Ozzy should play the next Cannabis Cup.
Well, Ozzy's a big proponent of weed.
Yeah.
And they were fucking one of the first people to advocate for it.
Just as someone who hasn't smoked weed in age, like over 10 years, I would say it is so cringe in 2022 to go on a fucking rant about marijuana. Like, who the
At a
fuck?
fucking metal show.
Come on, bro. I got no
It's-
dog in this fight. I don't
Yeah.
care if I don't smoke weed. I hardly hang around anyone who's smoking weed anymore.
The scent of it bother you? Question to both of you.
Bother me is
No.
not the right word. I don't like it anymore. I would say I used to love it. I would walk into a room and smell weed and be like, I'm gonna get high now. This is great. And the fact that I don't smoke anymore has taken some of the shine off of that like initial reaction. And sometimes it annoys me, but not enough to be like, stop fucking smoking weed. Like, I get that people get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and I respect that. And I
Not enough to be like, take your fucking dope and go to the back of the room.
Go out the fucking back of the fucking room, smell in the fucking alley. Fuck out of here.
What about you, Sid?
Yeah, I mean, I live in New York, and no matter where you go, you're smelling something. There's way worse things to smell than weed. It's whatever.
Cigarette smoke bothers me.
Cigarette smoke genuinely bothers me.
Like
Like,
cigar smoke.
like it hurts me. Marijuana smoke, I like. It's like smelling apple pie for me. It's like, oh, someone's having a great time.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah, there was a dude smoking a cigar at this gig I did recently. It was outside. Remember when Noah wanted to do a kickball league?
Yes.
And I usually don't do this. I did it. I refereed a kickball tournament because it was an ungodly amount of money to do almost nothing. So like I was there all day, and this guy was just smoking a cigar, a big stinky ass cigar.
Ugh.
Right in my face. It was just and he's a nice guy. I didn't want to like say anything, but oh my god.
Was he like a 70-year-old George Burns? Or
No, and I think I mentioned this guy to you privately. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show. He's a really nice guy. He usually does these volleyball tournaments that I do. And he and his brother are the hosts of the tournament, and they're like POD members. Like they're just like really cool 90s like hip hop and metal like K-rock guys. Their playlist is all late 90s like Rob's playlist from 1999 plus 90s hip hop and early 2000s hip hop.
Okay.
It's
Sounds
great. They have the beards. They fit the stereotype to a T, and they're living that life in 2022, and I love it. Like they could be like Cypress Hill Entourage guys.
Okay.
They're really cool, but the one drawback is one of them smokes really disgusting cigars for whatever reason. And I thought he was smoking a blunt, and I went up, so I was like, oh, okay. And then this fucking cigar smoke comes out of it, and I'm like, ugh.
Not a fan. I don't mind pipe smoke. The smell of that. When I was a little kid in my building growing up, the guy who painted the apartments, he also lived in the building where he was around all the time. He was this older guy, and he always would be outside smoking from like an old school, like the little wooden pipe, you know, the corn cob pipe type situation.
Yeah, sure.
And so I have like fond memories of that. And that smell didn't bother me, but cigarette, yeah, it's gross.
That's funny you said that, because I have the opposite, because my grandfather used to smoke a pipe just like you described, and I didn't get along with him very well.
Okay.
So I have a negative connotation to pipe smoke. The actual aesthetic of it doesn't really smell bad to me, but it triggers something in there that I'm like, I don't want to think about this.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you, Sid. I have a similar connotation to like an old man in my grandma's building smoking it, and it smelled good.
It's funny. I think maybe we link back to that with a pipe, because nobody fucking smokes pipes.
Yeah, it's a very specific
Yeah.
memory if you have one at all of that.
Yeah, I remember actually when we were cleaning out my grandma's apartment, I found one of those pipes that my grandfather had, who had passed away
Did you
many
try
years
it?
prior. Yeah, with weed, and it wasn't the same.
No.
Did it still
It's
have like
too-
stanky 35-year-old pipe tobacco in it?
No, it was pretty clean actually. It's just the chamber's too deep really to constantly be relighting. You know, it's kind of meant.
I thought you liked deep chambers.
No, I like them nice and tight.
Oh, okay. Was Deep Chambers one of the guys on your playlist?
Yeah, I was gonna. It's one of the EDM bands I've. Deep Chamber is actually a genre of house.
I meant a porn actor. But
Yeah,
maybe.
it's like Marilyn Chambers.
I thought you were talking.
He's an Indian guy, like Deepak Chambers.
Oh.
They call him Deep for short.
There's a little more to this Bruce Dickinson clip.
My goodness.
Let's hear him be an old man a little more.
All right. And then fucking pipe tobacco smokers. Go out the other fucking exit.
This fucking knucklehead here going, oh. And exiting pursued by a bear. That's Shakespeare, never mind. Whatever. Anyway, as for the rest of us,
a square old men that are left now.
Fuck me, you're a long way away at the back. How are you? All right?
He's searching for one person not smoking weed to talk to.
I've not forgotten about you as well. I know where you live, you know.
I have your information from Ticketmaster. It'd be funny if he pulls out a list and he's like, all right, now let's talk about the motherfuckers sniffing glue in the audience. He directs each one of them to an
please don't sniff. If you're sniffing poppers, go to the popper corner. Okay, Steve Harris doesn't want to smell your poppers. He's allergic to nitrous.
Hey, you, Tossa, are you doing amyl nitrate in me audience? And you got a fat ass too.
That was...
Oi, mate. Are you mixing Pop Rocks with Coca-Cola? What else can you complain about?
With the exception of the one fucking idiot, all right? The rest of us here are here because after 3 years of being locked up, locked down, and forbidden from doing everything we like to do,
that's not really what happened.
We can fucking get on with it now.
Can you pause it, Rob? I think it's pretty safe to say a vast majority of this audience did not adhere tightly to COVID procedures. Let's just be real here.
Yeah.
They were probably the first people to go back to shows.
Which is so weird. I guess he's against lockdowns and telling people what to do, but then he's okay with telling people not to smoke weed. Like, which?
Yes, he's okay with locking people in a room to smoke weed, but not to...
whatever suits him in that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Quick man cometh. Oh, is there pineapple on your pizza?
Unacceptable.
A British person should not have opinions about acceptable food. I'm sorry. No offense. Many great things over in the UK.
Right here. So we got people here from, obviously, from Los Angeles area, Orange County, everybody else. We got people from Chile. We got people from Brazil. We got people from Argentina, from the UK, from Wales, from Scotland. It's fair to say we've got people from the whole of the fucking world here tonight, all right? And at a time when the whole world is fucking falling apart for one reason or another.
I just want to point out that's definitely his penis. You could totally see.
Okay, fair enough. I defer to the expert.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just waving around at me. I can't, like, my eyes. I can't miss it.
This would be
I'm not trying to look.
If I was in this audience, this would be me right now. You ready? Sing a fucking song! Stop yelling at people.
I was locked up for 3 years not to hear you rant.
It would be so funny if he just bait and switch them and he just goes, we've got everybody in the fucking world here. We've got people from Wales. And then he goes, and then he goes, and you all fucking suck.
Just do a heel promo.
Tonight, right here, right now, you are part of one big fucking family.
Unless you're smelting marijuana. Fuck off!
He said it. He said it.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Oh, wow.
There it is.
Apart from the dickhead down here. But if I were to call you one big family, that's not enough. You see, we're kind of a band of brothers.
That's what a family is.
And without wishing to get into fucking men or women or anybody in between, I'm just going to be generic. I'm going to say every fucking person here, my friend, we are all brothers. We are blood brothers.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Wow. I'm so hyped up for a song now.
His
Hold on, let me
banter
just
is
smoke
as
some
long as
pot.
his fucking songs are. 12-minute long songs, and the banter takes that long too.
We needed Sharon Osbourne and her egg army to show up.
Seriously, anything. Fucking hell.
Are you
going.
throwing fucking eggs, mate? Oi, you, third row. Put that fucking egg down right now.
Are those cage free?
Organic.
Oh, jeez. That was fucking.
We were locked up for 3 fucking years to ruin the fucking environment by endangering fucking chickens.
Wow.
So that was fun. All right. Elsewhere on the internet.
Yes. So, by the way, what we can say to sum that up, Sharon was right. Okay,
Yes.
Cool. All right. Cool.
In this rare instance, we're Team Sharon.
Sharon won, the Dick 0. Let's just call him the Dick.
Which is also how many dicks Sharon gets. 0.
Ozzy!
That's right.
Oh, Rob, there's a sex spam bot. in our
Ooh,
chat.
we finally made it.
Oh.
Please don't click that. We can't vouch for the safety of it.
There wasn't even a link that I saw.
Oh, like the name of the
username.
the username was the address that you're supposed to go to.
I'll do that
Don't-
after the show. I'll let you guys know. How it is.
So in non-music news, there's this video of cops questioning this incel who
Oh, man.
essentially this woman was being stalked by this guy, and she called police on them, and then the guy being stopped by police started recording as if he is wrongly being interrogated.
Right. Which, by the way, not defending this guy at all, but that's a fair thing to do when cops are interrogating you, to turn the camera.
Absolutely, to have your own evidence. And the problem is that as you watch the footage, you realize that this is one of those rare instances where they are actually doing their job.
The cops are not at fault at any point, except for one, which I'll point out when we get to it. There's one thing that I take issue with, but other than that,
Do we know where this took place?
Wasn't it Florida? Or am I wrong about that? I think Florida.
I'm not sure. Well, there's a call letters in the bottom right here. Someone can look it up as we watch it.
Where?
And I
No, that's the web.
Play
That's
a
a
song
web.
for a woman that I kind of like.
Okay, so here he is explaining to the cop what he just did
Now let's watch.
and how it's unreasonable that he's being stopped for it.
The Cracker Barrel, and I was going to play a song for a woman that I kind of like. And I got there, and she saw me, and she immediately pulled away. And I wasn't forcing her to listen or anything, you know. I just wanted to play the song for her, you know, give her her own choice if she wanted to be with me, you know.
Oh dear.
Does she know you?
Yeah, I worked with her there for like 5-6 months.
Did y'all have a relationship?
No, we were talking a little bit, but it never really got serious.
Okay.
But anyways, I pulled up there, and I was in the other parking lot, and I saw her get in her car. And I was like, oh, shoot, it's my moment. So I pulled up there next to her, and she pulled away from me. And so I chased her a little bit just because, I don't know, women are crazy. Like, I felt like she wanted me to chase
Do you
her.
not think chasing somebody's crazy?
Women be crazy. They want you to chase them.
Oh,
crazy? Well, it's just like I only went like a couple blocks down the street.
Yeah, it's only a couple of blocks.
Like crazy when they obviously don't want to. Well, I had my song playing and I wanted to like her to hear it. Maybe. Well, apparently she didn't want to hear it, right? So what else happened? Let's get on with the story. Well, anyways,
wrap it up.
Her father called me up and he made some threats to me and to my life, and so I just want to have his name on file. What did he say to you? I think he said he's gonna stab me, like, but he's like cussing at me. He said that, or he did say that? He says I'm gonna do something to you. I swear I do something to you. For chasing his daughter? Yeah, but it wasn't chasing. It was like going down a couple streets. Like that's like fun to women. Like women like that. A little bit of excitement. No, they don't. Well, what about like if I was a father, I'd probably tell you the same thing. What about like BDSM porn?
Okay, that's the part. Like, that's the part that I disagree with the cop, because he basically, and he says this again later. He's like, kind of defending the father for saying he's gonna murder the guy. Like, you know, like
he didn't say he was gonna murder the guy though.
Well, no, but the cop saying that. I'm not saying the guy's correct, but the cop is saying like if the father said that, that's fine. That the guy can just stab this lunatic guy following the daughter, and that's cool too. Like, I don't think the cop should be, you know what I mean? Like,
but honestly, in whatever state they're in, it's probably legal to do that.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
We have rape fantasies.
Well, apparently this girl doesn't.
Wait, what?
Who knows?
Hold on, let's go back.
Porn. Where women
go back.
What about like BDSM porn?
I'd probably tell you the same thing.
What about like BDSM porn, where women like to have rape fantasies?
Well,
it's always good to bring up to a cop.
Yeah, like,
but in my defense,
you've lost the argument.
In my defense, there is rape in pornography
that I watch all the time.
Yeah. That makes you look good.
Knows most women do like having rape fantasies.
Okay. Do you think she does?
I don't know, but
apparently she don't.
Well,
so what do you want us to do?
Well, I just want you to get his name on file, just in case he does do anything to me.
Do you know his name?
I know his daughter's name.
What do you know his name?
I know her name. I don't know his name. He called me from a restricted phone number.
Okay. Here's my suggestion. Leave her alone.
Good suggestion.
Well, this is one song I made, and this was the final chance I was going to have.
Here's my chance. Here's my advice. It's over. Leave her alone.
Okay.
Fathers will hurt you over their daughters.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is she needs to have her own free will, man. You gotta understand. I'm a man myself, bro, and I need myself.
I'm a man myself, bro.
I think Sid nailed something here by saying that whatever state this is in, the father would probably be allowed to just go to his house with a shotgun, and blow his head off.
Yeah.
So this is good. This is unusual, like Rob said, unusually good police advice for somebody. They're just saying, leave her alone, walk out of the fucking thing, and a lot of places they'd probably have this guy with they kneeling on his neck already.
Well, if he was black.
Oh, I'm sure this guy would do that as well.
Yeah.
Especially a black guy approaching a white woman for a couple of blocks.
Yeah.
With a song he wrote.
Do we get to hear the song at any point?
Oh, I hope
Let's
so.
see.
I didn't see it. I watched this at the end and I didn't see it.
She's being controlled by him.
That's fine. That's fine. That's her choice, right? Free choice, free will.
I think she should go do porn.
Okay, you need to leave.
It's legal.
You need to leave.
Well,
I think now she's just doing this guy's just doing the Sid thing of saying the most.
Yeah, he's doing a bit. He's doing a bit.
Yeah, now he's doing a bit.
I don't need anything. You need to leave.
I'm having a discussion on.
I'm having a discussion. Telling you to leave.
Are you threatening me with arrest?
I'm not threatening you. I'm telling
Are you threatening me?
This is public property.
He's Cornholio now.
If you do that on public property, I'll leave under.
You're free to do whatever you want to right here, but we're not doing anything else. I'm just giving you advice. The girl doesn't want to talk to you.
Yeah, but there's something's twisted about that.
There's something twisted about the way you think.
I was going to let her make her own choice after the song.
Well, she's made her choice.
She made her choice.
Yeah,
like
she had a reasonable opportunity to make a choice, because I'm going to blow up and I'm going to be a famous DJ and I'm going to be
How old is she?
2 years older than me, 27.
How much?
27.
Oh my God, this guy's 25.
I'll speak with her.
Oh, I thought he was like 17. Oh my God.
I believe so. But I can't stop recording the video.
Well, that's okay. I'll go by her job. She works at Cracker Barrel, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'll speak with her and then I'll get back with you, okay?
All righty, sounds good.
I'm sure you will.
Thank you, guys.
Jesus. So now he's going back into what is this, like a hotel?
Yeah, it looks like a hotel lobby, or maybe it's the police station. Because he said he came to file the father's name at the police station. Yeah, and now he's just in the parking lot. Oh, now we see what he looks like. Whoa, he's got a pube beard.
Lindsay's dad. I hope you see this fucking video.
Wow.
You know what
He's
happens?
the basis for
when
Five
women
Finger Death
don't
Punch, or
ever,
which
you know, come to terms with themselves.
Wow, this is scary. This guy's a fucking creep.
Bad shit happens.
And now he's making a threat.
I don't know. Something the cops want to deny.
I never understand guys who have like these isn't this annoying? These hairs are getting on your lip. Like you should trim that, buddy.
He's too focused on this other thing, man. He'll do that when this is resolved.
Belligerent LGBT shit that has her.
Wait, pause it for a
Right
second, because you should listen to this, because he starts out with a little bit of a manifesto, and then he makes a big a threat in this.
Okay, let's see.
You know what happens when women don't ever, come to terms with themselves?
What does that even mean?
Bad shit happens.
There you go.
I don't know.
I think pause it. I think if I understand what he's saying, it's that when he says women come to terms with themselves, he means they have to realize that they want the neckbeard guy to rape them or to have rough sex with them or whatever, and they just don't know they want it yet. But once he plays her that song, they're gonna realize what they really want. Like he's gonna win her over.
Okay.
Something the cops want to deny me trying to get her to be straight. Something is wrong about that. I don't see why these traditional ass motherfuckers think they can speak shit whenever it's this woke belligerent LGBT shit that has her.
So
right
wait.
now.
So now I'm also
has
getting
a crush on is a lesbian.
Yeah, now I'm
and he was in the process of converting her to being straight to be with him, and the cops are interfering because they want her to stay a lesbian because they're woke.
Yeah. Even though they're supposed to be traditionalists, I guess you'd say.
And her father is controlling the bullshit. I just don't see it.
Her father's making her gay.
Father. That's how I feel right now. I've lived this life. I've been the greatest. I've been down and I've been about.
When was the part when he was the greatest?
Where this is going, but fucking snakes, man. She was gonna lure me into a trap.
What?
Whenever I was gonna go, play a song for her. It's just how it is.
Clearly, this dude's got some mental.
Shout out to all my bros.
Issues.
Shout out to his bros.
I know that my dudes. I'm really getting depressed recently, you guys.
Oof.
I feel like there's not faith in me.
Oh, he's gonna cry.
This is what Mark B videos would be like if he wasn't married.
Yeah. 100%.
Thank God he found a wife. Because otherwise,
if you don't listen to my song, I'll meet you on Coney Island Avenue. One man and one woman enter. One man leaves, and it ain't gonna be you.
Darren, in our offline chat, you said that you actually found a clip of this song.
I do. I have a short clip, but he didn't upload the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Let's thrash it or trash it. Let's hear it.
Love you for being my wife.
Oh, it sounds a little familiar.
Oh, it's very sweet.
Why wouldn't you want to listen to this? I don't get it. What's your problem?
I think that would win me over if a man wanted to rape me and I heard that. I would say, oh, this might actually be a good situation.
There's actually a follow-up clip. And it looks like eventually he did get arrested, this guy.
Oh.
So here's this follow-up clip. It's a little messed up.
Have you ever heard the song Baby, It's Cold Outside?
Oh no.
Probably.
You know, he's like saying, she's saying no, I'm saying yes, and they're just playing this game.
Oh my God!
But
Is this
that's
the
for the
same guy?
judge to decide, not me.
I know, just the way it is. And lots of people stood up for that song. So I mean,
What?
or if you
So, yeah, he got arrested. Let's
Is that
see.
the same guy, that video? I missed the setup to that.
Yeah,
guy
that was
in-
this.
Incel,
The
yeah.
different cop, but same incel. But so they launched an investigation into Jacob Yerkes. That's the incel's name.
Jacob Jerks? What is
Yerkes. Yerkes. Yerkes or
Oh.
Yerkes.
Oh, what
Regarding threats he was making towards a former coworker, it was determined Mr. Yerkes was making unsolicited contact, and it was further found that he was posting on several social media sites, including YouTube, making threats of violence.
Yeah, he made one in that video.
Yeah.
Bad things happen.
The social media threats garnished national attention. The
Oh.
cops, right?
They
Ooh,
put a little
garnished.
sprig of parsley next to the national attention.
That led to the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office becoming involved, as well as Federal Bureau of Investigation Joint Terrorism Task Force. Okay.
Virginia, I guess this is.
So he's been taken into custody on charges of aggravated stalking and harassment, and it is an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
And
Dusty Rhodes Muffler says, pretty sure this guy was a metal injection commenter.
buddy, so good.
I
Yeah,
just
that's-
I feel like I'm just finding out that what his last name was. I'm almost 49% sympathetic to him now, growing up with that name. It has to be bad for your mental stability.
Spell the last name, Rob. What was it?
Yerkes.
Yerka. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of ways you could go with that.
Jerk ass. That would be number one.
Jerk it. Yeah, sure. Lots of jerk stuff.
You
Which is
can't
what-
be you can't be set up for a good life.
It's a
with
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. When I hear someone was threatening to rape a person or beat them up or kill them, especially a woman, and then I find out their name was Yerkes, I'm not surprised, let's say. Rhymes with circus. There's another one.
It's true.
Jerkus Circus, they probably called them in the school bus. I see. They just come to me naturally. This is how kids are. I still have
And
a
this
kid
is
brain.
after like knowing him for 5 minutes. Imagine every day at school.
Hey, jerk ass. Writing songs for girls again, jerk ass. No one's ever gonna love you.
He's the legitimately Weird Al.
That's true.
Like very
He-
weird.
Yeah, they're not cool kind of weird.
Yeah.
Hey, let me read this from Quick Man Cometh. I can imagine him at trial. He's representing himself. Your Honor, Exhibit A, baby, it's cold outside. I rest my case. I've heard this before, by the way. I've heard like this type of person defending opposing no means no type of philosophy by saying, well, some women mean yes when they say no, and referencing that song, which I feel like they're misconstruing how that song came up in the public consciousness. Like I feel like it's an old song, and there was a sort of every Christmas this comes up. I don't know if you guys are on top of this, but that song plays somewhere.
Not so much. I feel like it's basically like the decision has been made in recent years, but yeah.
But there's always someone that's going to oppose that because it's woke shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is
But
cancel
it is
culture.
I understand it's meant to be kind of like a tongue-in-cheek song, but if you actually look at the lyrics and see what they're saying, yeah, like the woman is saying, I want to go home, and the guy is saying, under no circumstances are you leaving. But they do it with like witty back and forth banter, and it's supposed to be charming.
But I think they're like, if two people have a relationship, they're free within those boundaries to have that discussion. Like you can have a no means yes discussion with your wife or with a girlfriend or somebody who you're close to, or a gay relationship. I'm not trying to gender it. It could be anybody. But that's one thing. But then when you were a guy who's in love with the girl at the Cracker Barrel,
from 6 months ago,
that doesn't apply to you. Like you can't that and transport it to your situation where the girl just doesn't want to fuck you.
Yeah.
that exactly. You said it perfectly, Darren. Like, that song is, there is an established relationship between the two people singing it, that they're already
Right.
in an agreeable relationship, and they've already
She had to start out at the guy's house.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's certainly what he's missing. He thinks that's permission. In general, this guy's a fucking lunatic, but I do have a sympathy for these young men who don't know how to properly socialize in the real world. Just
agree with
because,
you.
like, I'm saying, like, he took it to a place where I don't feel bad for this person. There are plenty of people that don't know how to communicate, that aren't fucking rapist stalkers. They're just
Awkward.
they don't have social interaction skills, just because everything is online now.
I
But
think
even
it's very
courtship
hard.
is online now, so they shouldn't it be
Well,
easier?
I think here's the thing. You raised a good point, Rob. Is that, like, there's millions of people like that, and men and women, who can't really they can't interact. They're socially awkward, and then on top of that, well, we had that when we were kids, but there was no Instagram, there was no social media showing everybody every second of every relationship of everybody they know constantly. So they get this, like, FOMO or whatever, and it drives them insane. And then once they reach that point, there is, like, this big pit of people telling them, oh, well, it's perfectly valid to go harass women that don't want to sleep with you.
Yeah,
And
it's not your fault, it's the girl's fault.
And they get directed onto that fork of the road, So I feel like there is something to relate to in this guy's story, but he's taking it to a place that is just horrible.
There's no introspection. It's never, well, maybe if I shave the neckbeard, girls will like me. No, it's like, no, I am fine. I'm not the problem. It's her for being stuck up.
Right. You raise another good point, Sid, which is that there's always something you can do. I can't stress this enough to anyone young in the audience. There's something you can do to make yourself appealing. Like, everyone has great things about them. There's something valuable about you. Not everyone is a supermodel or anything, but someone will love you if you present the best possible version of yourself.
Yeah.
If you dress a little nicer, or you develop an interesting hobby, or whatever it is to you, just do a real inventory of yourself and say, what's the best version of me? And I'm going to be that. And then you develop confidence. And then the people you're attracted to, some of them are going to be attracted back to you. Some of them won't. And that's life.
Some of them is the key, because you also have to accept the fact that some people are just out of your league no matter what you do. And there's no way you're going to convince them to join your league, especially when they're a lesbian, like in this guy's case.
Oh, was it stated that she's a lesbian?
Right?
I didn't
In
hear
his
that.
rant in the car.
He suggests it. Yeah.
That might have been when I was looking up my audio file, so I might have missed that.
But like, some people, like, no matter what you do, they're just not going to be interested. And that's also okay. You just need to adjust your standards sometimes.
Now, do we know she is a lesbian, or was he just saying she's a lesbian because she doesn't want to fuck?
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know, but he's making it seem like he was going to convert her, or he was going to bring her back to being straight.
I've heard a lot of guys on the edge of desperation who just throw out the lesbian word when a woman's not interested. It must be because they're lesbians, not because I'm unappealing in some way.
It's also possible that maybe these two worked together and he saw that they had similar interests. And the fact that they had similar interests because she's also into girls. But he was like, no, this girl is perfect for me. She's just like me. It's like, well, she's just like you for a reason, man.
She likes puss.
He just,
We should go to strip clubs together. Dusty's asking, what's the solution? I don't know what you're referring to.
Yeah, with the incel problem that he was asking. I don't know what the solution is. Solution, well, I think Darren was saying what the solution is like work on bettering yourself. And also, I think a big problem is that, and this is not just men or like people of this internet generation have expectations. Like, women owe it. Nobody owes you anything.
Yeah.
No women owes it to you to have sex. When you go in with that attitude, you're already losing. If you go in with no expectations, you will be pleasantly surprised at what ends up happening. But if you have expectations, you will most likely be disappointed, and your expectations are probably exceeding the level of comfort for the other person.
That's a good way to put it. And I want to throw one other thing in there. The solution to the problem of, let's say people have ignored that advice and they've reached the place where this guy is, and now they're teetering on whether to do self-improvement or to go into the incel right-wing hellhole. So the solution for that, to me, and it sounds corny, but I think it's just mutual aid. Like, people have to come together and be kind to each other. Like, you got to be kind to people instead of like immediately dismissing this people because they're cringe or because they're in a bad place or they're stupid or they're corny or something. You find, I think immediately there's like, people are when they relate to each other, they're immediately trying to dismiss the other person. Like, what is it about this person that I could find to pick them apart and be shitty to them? And we can accept them and go, look, you got a weird beard. Okay, maybe I'm not going to make you feel like a fucking idiot immediately to your face that you have a weird looking beard or whatever it is. Or maybe you have trouble relating to women. Here's a time that I had a trouble relating to women, and I'm going to tell you about that. And maybe we laugh about it or something. Like, just be kind to people. And that doesn't mean be a pushover. Like, if someone comes into your situation and they're treating you like an asshole, all right, fuck them. Like, you can certainly respond in kind by being an asshole back to them, but don't lead with being a fucking asshole all the time. That's what I see in a lot of people, and I'm not even going to blame that on the internet. I've seen that since I was 10 years old, you know, and I'm old. So I just think there's like this, although it has gotten worse, I would say, but there's just this feeling like I get from reading people on the internet that like everyone's afraid to be cringe. Everyone's afraid to be seen as a loser. Like, go out, do things, like do positive things, like go touch grass is the saying now. Like, go have a life full of experiences and be kind to people.
Yes.
Be kind to people. That's the most important thing. Like, even if they're saying something objectionable, and try to understand what led them to that point. You know, I don't know. I feel like that would ease a lot of this shit. A lot of these people go astray and go into right-wing fucking shittiness because they didn't find anybody to connect with. To ease whatever.
And that's another thing. I feel like there's a lot of lines being drawn. Like, I feel growing up, I had friends who were ultra liberal, and then I had friends who were dumbass conservatives, and we all kind of like just got along and like understood each other. But now I feel like the stakes feel so much higher, and like people are less forgiving. Like, if somebody says one stupid thing, it's over. You know, and I say this like, this is of course to a point, you know, like
yeah, you can't be a Nazi. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I can tell the difference between somebody with some misguided conservative opinions and somebody that wants to exterminate me because I'm Jewish. You know what I mean? Like, I can tell the difference.
And also I feel like with some of these kind of opinions, it's just clear that the person never really thought out why it's illogical. Like, I've had so many discussions with people about trans women in sports like, this is the first thing that came to my mind of just a hot button issue where like, oh, somebody might bring something up, and like where they went into it being like, oh, I'm totally against it. And, you know, I, instead of just writing them off, I would just engage them and kind of explain like my whole take is essentially like, it's kind of ridiculous that somebody wants to be so good at sports that they're willing to change their body this much just to get like a gold medal. Like, that's ridiculous. People just want to play sports, you know? And I feel like the more you talk to somebody and just and not yell at them or demean them, just have a conversation with them, they'll come around to it. And I feel like I'm personally, I feel I'm very good at that with that stuff, or just in general, like leftist ideas on people that don't necessarily think about it. Like, just don't brand it as socialism. Just be like, wouldn't it make sense if this happened? Yes. Well, guess what? You're a socialist.
But also, the one other thing I want to add is that the trans issue in sports is very illustrative of this thing we're talking about, because like, it's something that if you remove all context and you just think about it, it's reasonable, though wrong, for someone to come to that conclusion that, a boy, a person who's a biological male who now has feelings that they want to be a woman might have some kind of advantage in sports. it makes sense on the surface, and it's not till you unravel it that it becomes
Yeah.
sort of unreasonable. So that's a perfect example of someone who could reach the wrong conclusion but be a well-meaning person. And that's the kind of person you have to get to say, no, here's why. Explain it calmly without judging the wrong conclusion that they came to. Then if they persist and they're not willing to listen to reason, then you can say, okay, this person's an asshole, and close the door. But it's worth the attempt. And that's why I was answering Dusty's question. What's the solution? To me, that's the solution. Make the attempt to bridge the gap between people with bad thinking and to get them to the good kind of thinking. And then there's some of those people will not cross that bridge because they're just inherently fucking assholes. And then you're done with them. Shut those people out of your life. But be kind. Try to be kind is the best way to put it. Try to be kind. Sometimes you can't do it.
Yeah. I think that's a good place to start talking about our Spotify playlist.
What a segue.
Try to be a better person by listening to the music we recommend. How about that?
RIP stands for Rob Introduces Playlist.
And I'm going to add the playlist link. Actually, I realized I don't know why I didn't have it before on our riplivecast.com. So that'll be another way to access the playlist. And every week we each pick a song. We have over 400 songs on this playlist. A whopping 29 hours of music. Personally handpicked by the three of us. Noah's picks are in there. Some of our guests' picks.
Sean.
And my pick this week, I'm continuing with my electronic music vibes with a group from France called Hard Corpse. This is the Spotify algorithm figuring
Corpse like
out.
dead body?
CORPS, like corporations.
That'll be core, I think.
Oh, it is?
Especially if it's from France.
Marine Corps.
Okay.
Marine Corps is spelled like that.
Maybe
okay. I'm wrong. I might be wrong.
No, I think you're right, Darren. I think
you're right. Hardcore. Okay, fair. That makes sense. It's this French electronic group. They have an amazing vocalist. Her voice is beautiful. Like it's really, really nice. She sings in French. I don't know what the fuck she's saying, but it's really good. And then there's just this one song on the album, which is the one that Spotify kind of threw into my algorithm, which doesn't really sound like the rest of the album. And it's a really, really fun. It sounds like a Lost Africa Bambaataa track.
Oh,
like it's like that kind of funkiness.
You got my attention.
And and the whole album is really, really good. I've been listening to it a lot. Hardcore. It's from 1990.
Oh wow.
So I really like it. So I hope you enjoy it. That's my pick.
Dusty Rhodes Muffler wants to know if you listen to Skinny Puppy.
I've been listening to Skinny Puppy. I've been getting into it a little bit. I feel like they're a group that I should like, but it's kind of, it feels a little basic bitch to me. To be
honest.
And it's, I feel like I want to like, I've been listening to them a bit. I have this whole playlist of artists that I know I should be into more, like them. Frontline Assembly, I think I like more than a Skinny Puppy.
KMFDM.
And like KMFDM, I've always really enjoyed. They're great. They're exactly what they should sound like.
Did we ever discover the true meaning of KMFDM? Because when I was a kid, they always said it was a kill motherfucking Depeche Mode. And
that's also what I've heard.
I don't know if that's true though.
Kein Merhit für die Mittelde.
Oh, okay.
Loosely translated for no pity for the majority.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. That sucks. I was kind of hoping it was that. That's probably something.
Why would anybody want to kill motherfucking Depeche Mode? Depeche Mode rules.
I'm not anti-Depeche Mode in the slightest. I really like Depeche
Mode. I would think.
I just thought that was funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny. Someone would name their band.
Yeah,
that's all. Not against it at all. If someone said kill motherfucking Metallica, I would think that was funny too.
I could also see like them not using that, and then somebody guessing that, and I'm thinking, that's actually better than what it actually stands for. Let people believe that.
Yeah.
That's more clever than what we came up with. So sure. Or like the band MDC, every album MDC stood for something different, just like with us RIP stands for something different. So KMFDM, it's more letters, so it's more difficult, but you could have it stand for something else every album. Get creative with it.
All right. So that was
Darren.
What did you pick, Darren?
Well, Nas just released an album this week, and it's called King's Disease 3. And there's a bonus track on that where he mentions the New York Mets, the Brooklyn Nets, and also samples the entrance music for the New York Mets closer, Edwin Diaz, Timmy Trumpet's Narco. So I played that track. I haven't heard the rest of the album, but this track is really great. And Nas has an incredible track record of not missing. So I'll be anxiously listening to that, but this is a banger.
That's awesome.
And he's a huge Mets fan, by the way. Grew up in Queensbridge, which is probably like 4 miles from Citi Field, I would say. So,
and props to him for not just doing the lame mainstream thing of being a Yankee fan anyway. He actually stuck to his Queens roots.
I did see a very disappointing one single picture of him wearing a Yankees hat. But if you look at I don't know why.
Maybe he lost a bet with Jay-Z. It's one of those things.
But you'll see that there are images. If you scour the internet, there's just dozens and dozens.
Mm-hmm.
He represents the Mets all the time. So props to him for that. He's probably the most prominent rapper. That's Fabulous was another one.
Yeah, but Nas is definitely that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will say in the new season of Rami, every episode he's got a Mets hat on. So props to Rami.
Cool.
And my song pick was a song by the band That Dog, which it's one of my favorite songs by any band, song Never Say Never, which I must have put it on our playlist when we actually had music breaks, but I'd never put it on this playlist. And I thought it was about fucking time. And so that's what I did. It's like a poppy, punky, synthy, violin-y, great band song. And now the lead singer does like TV themes and scores, like her and the lead singer of Shudder to Think did all the music and score and theme song for Yellow Jackets. So that's what Anna Waronker of That Dog does now, but her band was also fantastic. And I think I actually bought this CD when it came out at the Tower Records you worked at, Darren, back in the day. And I'm not sure if you were there or not. I did not know you at the time.
What year was this?
Must have been like 97.
No, I worked there in early 90s.
Okay.
Oh, and are we done? I'm sorry. I was gonna.
Yeah, I'm done. I love that song. It's great.
Rob, I wanted 2 things. There's a couple of things in the chat I wanted to point out to you, Dusty. I know you. I must know this band, but he's asking if you listen to Skinny Puppy. It's like the next level after you enter industrial music with 9 Inch Nails. Are you a Skinny Puppy fan?
Darren, did you just black out 5 minutes ago?
I
talked about this.
Oh, I might have missed it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I said they were a little
Gristle,
basic bitch. Throbbing Gristle.
I didn't. I'm sorry, Rob. No, I thought I heard you say they're basic bitch, but I thought you were talking about KMFDM.
No, this was before.
No.
I think this is how the KMFDM came up.
I'm sorry, I must have missed that line about Skinny Puppy. Sorry, I didn't black out. I apologize. Oh, about you mentioned Throbbing Gristle?
I haven't listened to Throbbing Gristle yet, but just on the name alone, I will absolutely. I love the name, so I'm into it.
Throbbing Gristle is another one of those bands that I know from my exploits at record stores that I would recommend to you without knowing anything of what they sound like, just knowing the genre and what.
It sounds like exactly what I want to listen.
But that reminds me though, I have another band that this one I do kind of know what they sound like, and they're not bad. But this one I also picked up from working in record stores that you might like. Sid might like this band or may know this band. Steel Pole Bathtub.
I know the name. I've never heard them.
Like kind of like lo-fi rock, I would say. Lo-fi. I don't know how to describe it.
What about Revolting Cocks?
Nope. That's a good name.
Yeah.
Try out. Here's our homework. Let's all try out Steel Pole Bathtub. And see
all right.
if you like it.
Okay.
Don't shit in the Steel Pole Bathtub, though.
Well, Steel Pole Bathtub is just one of my all-time favorite band names. I just think it just evokes an image immediately.
Yeah.
Another good one. You ever hear of the Bloody Stools?
No.
And their cover, I think they have only one album, and their cover is like literal stools in a bar, flipped over with like with blood on them.
God damn. All right.
And by the way, that one I have no idea what kind of music they are.
Yeah.
I think maybe punk. Not 100% sure. Let me double check that.
All right. And we also, of course, have a Patreon. $5 a month gets you 2 bonus episodes a month. And guess what? Both bonus episodes are up for this month. A little early. We just posted it last night. We recorded a roundtable, a 1-hour discussion about the new Weird Al biopic, Weird. And spoiler, all of us really liked it. And you get to hear fun little anecdotes from all of us about our first times listening to Weird Al and what we thought of the movie, our favorite jokes. It was a fun conversation. We got that in there. We have a new episode of us answering Chuck Klosterman's hypotheticals, where they're just fun, unique scenarios, and we have to kind of answer how we would react to such scenarios. And then, of course, we have plenty of movies that we've done watch-alongs to. If you're looking for a nice binge, watch a movie with us. Most of them are bad movies that we make better. Like we watched the MGK movie, Good Morning, which, but we had some good riffs on it. And we watched the movie Tiptoes, starring literally an all-star cast: Matthew McConaughey, Gary Oldman. Who else was in it? Peter Dinklage. And it's
David
where
Allen Greer.
Gary Oldman plays a little person, so he's literally acting on his knees the entire movie. It's fucking weird. And plenty of good stuff. We also did a watch along. This was really fun, of the Terry Funk versus Onita exploding barbed wire cage match. We had a really fun time talking about that. We did a watch along of the Lemmy documentary, which got a little uncomfortable at some points. And so there's plenty
that
of
was a
stuff in
case
there.
of some of us expressing kindness to someone espousing possibly problematic viewpoints, and we tried to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Although it's too late to convince Lemmy of his error of his ways.
Well, by God, we tried.
So so head up to our Patreon, patreon.com/RIPLivecast, $5 a month. And for $10, you get to become a top Livecast fan, and you get a shout out at the end of the show, which is right now. How should we do it, folks?
2 options for you. We can do it as Sharon Osbourne sending her army of egg throwers to hit our Livecast Patreons, or Bruce Dickinson telling them each to not smoke a particular kind of drug.
That was going to be my suggestion as well, the Bruce Dickinson scolding.
Oi, Eric, if you're gonna snort the cocaine, do it in the back room with Laws. Oh, Benjamin, you need to do a little methy meth. Don't do it in front of me. Dan, do your cocaine elsewhere. I already used cocaine.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sam, you're being a little touchy-feely. I don't like when people do Molly in front of me. Get out of here.
You could also do different strains of weed.
Mindy Mays Kipper, don't smoke that purple haze in front of me. I thought the strain was discontinued years ago. Jander, what's that cheap shit you're smoking? It's affecting my lungs. Get out of here! I enjoy a nice sour diesel myself. I am a sativa man, but not during a show. Rubber Ganoush, a.k.a. Justin, you're smoking that Zaza, as they say, and I don't need to smell it.
What is Zaza?
It's short for Za is short for exotics, so it's like the high end weed. That's the new slang, Sid. I'm teaching you what the kids say.
Oh my God.
Robber Vampiro, you've done enough catnip. Hugo likes tacos, and Hugo apparently loves the peyote. Lando Danks is smoking that dank ass kush.
I thought Lando Danks might be smoking Land O'Lakes butter.
Oh no,
it's laced with
that's
something.
delicious.
And LaCroix Put down the DMT. You are already elevated. Corey and Scotty H don't do drugs. Doug Pigman, pork isn't the only thing you're smoking. Douglas, who are you, Levison? I need you to put down the pipe. And hey, guys, it's Josh licking toads. It's our show. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
I wanted to add one thing. I looked up the Bloody Stools and listened to 4 seconds of it, and I'm surprised to report this. It's like cock rock. It's like the Rat or something.
Oh,
It just sounds like very like heavy rock.
when is
Like
it from?
Well, it has to be before the early. It has to be like at the latest early 90s, because that's when I discovered them in my job.
Interesting.
Yeah, would never have thought that. Give it a listen.
Next week, it's going to be an all Bloody Stools playlist.
Yes. All right.
All right, that's our show, folks. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you.
Bye.